Hi, I'm Nick, head editor at an in-house post-production company that services some of the biggest advertising agencies in London. I've been lucky enough to learn and expand my skills, being challenged through different styles of editing. From my time at a news agency's cutting long-form edits, including serious documentaries and talking head pieces, to my current job consisting of TV commercials and social content, which we class as short-form editing. So hopefully, I can share some useful tips with you to help in the content you will be uploading to the creator competitions. There are many ways to tell a story when starting your edit, and the most common way is from start to finish. And this is what we call a linear narrative. Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler is a good example of how someone's life gets turned upside down, starting on a high to a few days later, nosediving into utter chaos, all told in an extreme tension-building linear storyline. Another way is by jumping back and forth through the timeline, and this is what we call a non-linear narrative. Popular technique, often used in some of Tarantino's films to disorientate the viewer and build the tension with a different execution. This is normally determined in the script writing process, but can sometimes help mix things up in post-production if the edit isn't working or you want to be a bit more creative. Next, I'd recommend researching editing cut techniques. By their nature, social media films often involve jump cuts to signify a passage of time when squeezing a considerable amount of content into a 10 to 15 second piece. I personally would have thought jump cuts, match cuts and invisible cuts would be more useful in these particular pieces. A commonly used option is the invisible cut, to trick the viewer into thinking it was all one shot. The film 1917 is a really good example of the latter technique. My final piece of advice would be about laying down the music or the sound bed. If you're editing to the beat, I'll try and cut the visuals a frame or two before the beat hits, as I find it can be a bit more impactful. Alternatively, if you're using an invisible cut, then try cutting off the beat so not to draw attention to it. Cutting off beat can be a much subtler form of editing, depending on what your end goal is. Good luck in the creator competitions, and more than anything, without trying to sound too cliched, have fun. Experiment with different types of cutting techniques to find what helps your narrative flow best. Even try multiple cuts at the same time. And remember, hold each shot for as long as required to get the essential information across to the viewer needed to tell your story. Good luck and all the best.